Right guys, can you see me? I don't think you can, but can you hear me? I'm right here! So, today we are testing the new microphone by Godox, the Virso. So here we are, I hope you can see me a bit better as well now. So what is the Godox Virso S? This is a dual wireless microphone system. Before we get into the feature, I want to show you a commercial I filmed previously. We are recording this voiceover on the new Godox Virso S microphone. You should probably have, usually for this kind of voiceover recording, a studio mic, which is a bit different, but I wanted to test this microphone. I'm using it without any denoiser, at least as I'm recording. We might add it in post-production, but this is my voice. I'm also using two Godox lights, the VL150 as key light and the TL30 as fill light in pink. I used the TL to create the commercial itself, so I definitely recommend you to go and check my previous videos, which I loved to make. Can He-Man survive the doors of doom? I have the power! The problem is, it might be drained by mosquito, tangled by squeeze, or frightened by snake face.
You can't escape!
But He-Man is joined by his friend Blast. Now slither away, and good wins again. We have the power. Mosquito, Squeeze, Snake Face and Blast figures sold separately. New from Mattel. Alright, so what do you think about the voice and the commercial and the performance of the microphone? What's your first impression of this Virso S? Let's do some unboxing and see what we receive when we purchase the Virso S. Of course, we have two transmitters and one receiver, one bag, two windshields, two lapel microphones that you can plug into your transmitter via a 3.5 mini jack. We have a triple USB charging cable, so you can charge the three devices at once. We have also two cables, mini jack, one for your cameras and one for your smartphones. Let's jump into the features, and we're gonna start saying that in your transmitters, you will also have your microphone built in. As you can see here, I'm actually speaking with two of the transmitters. One is just through the built-in microphone, the one here, and also I have a lapel microphone connected to the second transmitter. So we're gonna test the two microphones and see which one we prefer and which one performs better as well in different conditions. But the big news of this microphone is that also the receiver has a built-in microphone. This is something I want to highlight straight away. The microphone on the receiver is built to talk behind the camera. So if you are interviewing someone, let's say you have two people in front of your camera, the microphone on the receiver will be facing you. But if you want to vlog, you're not able to use the built-in microphone of the receiver because it will be facing the other way, backwards basically. Now let's talk about the name itself. My version is called Virso S. S stands for Sony cameras, meaning that you can attach your receiver directly through the hot shoe of your Sony cameras, and that connection will work as a cable just with Sony cameras. Also bear in mind that with the 3.5 mini jack cable you can connect the Virso to any other cameras, not just Sony cameras. But of course the hot shoe of the receiver is built for Sony cameras, so if you want to purchase another version for any camera, you just want to get the normal Virso and not the Virso S. But if you have the Virso S and you want to use it on other camera, you can via the mini jack. Let's talk about the internal recording, because yes, you can actually record internally into your transmitter. You can record up to 400 hours of backup recording. I mean, you will never record so much audio anyway, but you have the option, if you have a mini SD card, you can simply slide into this slot and record also inside your microphone. Distance range, your microphone can work up to 200 meters away from the receiver. We're gonna test it out later on, so stay tuned. We have some displays on the receiver only. We have a button on each transmitters, which is the mute button. So if you want to mute your microphone, you can press that one. And that one doesn't really work well to me because it's very sensitive. And during the recording of the voiceover for the commercial I showed you at the beginning of this video, I mispressed the mute button by accident and I basically didn't record anything. I had to re-record the whole voiceover. So you need to be very careful because it's also in a position which is not great in my opinion. It wouldn't be better a switch more than a button that you just press by accident. And we have a menu. Through the menu you can adjust the noise. You have a denoiser. When you press that button, the microphone will try to delete some of the ambient noise. At the moment it's off, so we're gonna test the noise as well of the microphone later on at the end of the video. Going back to the menu, there's a screen rotation, so you can literally just flip your screen and text of the menu. We have one press per button, so whenever you press this option, your three devices will connect and work properly. You have the mono and stereo mode, so if you have one person only talking to the camera, you can record in mono, but if you have two people or three people, you can record in stereo and select your tracks in post-production. An extra feature is the safety track. Basically, when you record in stereo, as I'm doing right now, if you select the safety track, the microphone will record two different tracks, one in a normal level and the second track -6 decibel through the same transmitter. So it's called safety track because if the audio clips, you can always go to the second track and use the -decibel channel, which is great. Of course, you got the volume setting, you can put your volume up and down. Battery life. The system offers extended battery life, so with up to 13 hours of operation for the transmitter and 17 hours for the receiver on a single charge. The standard version of the Virso, the Virso M2, so with two transmitters and one receiver, will come with a charging case. So you will put your three devices in the case and you can charge the case directly, and the case will charge your devices, which is great for traveling. Unfortunately, I don't have it, so I can't show it to you. But I recommend to go to the Godox website and check it out there. By the way, all the links of the products down here in the description tab. If you want to know about the build of the mic, they're actually very light, either the transmitters and the receiver. They feel a bit plasticky, to be honest, especially in the button as well, the mute button and the power button at the top. That could be a benefit, again, if you are a traveler and you want to commute with light gear. This is very light. Dimensions, we have 50 by 50 millimeters by 16 millimeters, and the weight of each device, it's more or less 30-35 grams. Going to the tests, we do the distance range test first, and here it is. So this is the range test. The microphone is supposed to reach 200 meters away. This is probably what I am at right now. So I'm across the lake. Can you hear me? There's no obstacles around me or in front of the receiver. Hello guys, can you see me? I don't think so, but can you hear me? I'm here. Today we are reviewing the Godox microphone, the Virso. We're gonna talk about it and test it after the intro. Right, so that was the distance range test. The first time we actually had two takes. The first take was really good, no interferences, but the second time I tried to record from the same position. I was just moving around, and yeah, the audio didn't really pick up very well. Now, throughout this whole vlog, I have recorded on two tracks in stereo mode. One track was actually with the built-in microphone, and the other track was with the lapel mic connected to the second transmitter. Now I'm going to be quiet for a few seconds and we're going to compare the noise of both microphones. So first of all, we start with the built-in. Now we're going to switch to the lapel mic. I also want to test something else. So far, I have filmed with the microphone on top of the camera, but connected to my camera via the 3.5 mini jack cable. I have now switched to the cold shoe. So I'm still in stereo mode. I'm going back to the mini jack and you will feel the difference. I'm gonna also test the microphone with the denoiser. Now the denoiser is being off, I'm gonna turn it on and let's check the difference. Yeah, 1, 2, 1, 2. There's definitely a difference there. 1, 2, 3. I want to make sure the denoiser doesn't affect my voice. I'm gonna turn it off again. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. It doesn't seem to really affect the voice, so that's great, but it deletes some of the background noises. In any case, I never use denoisers on the microphones. I prefer to do it in post-production. Again, just to make sure I can manipulate the audio as I want. It's something like color correction. I don't like to have a LUT ready on my image, but I record in flat profile and then I prefer to adjust it later on. The last test I want to do is to actually talk via the built-in microphone of the receiver. So what I can do is to detach the receiver from the hot shoe and turn it in my direction and try to talk. But when you do that, you want to make sure you go through the menu and choose the option in the microphone and choose RX, which is receiver. Otherwise, you will be recording via the transmitter again. So I place the receiver on top of the camera and 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. It's right here. So if you want to vlog like that, more or less, it's not the best way because the receiver is hanging at the moment, but this is the audio through the built-in microphone of the receiver. So how is it? Probably not as good as the microphones I've got here, closer to my mouth. This is the noise of the receiver. Let's go back to the transmitters. Here we are. Yeah, definitely clearer. Yeah, okay, cool. So conclusion, what do we think about the microphone? You tell me, what do you think about the microphone? You've heard the different tests, different built-in microphone and also the lapel. I think it worked really well either in a studio environment or for vlogging. I'm not sure if I would use it for professional work because again the noise is a bit too much overall, but definitely great for vlogging again, and YouTube you can denoise it in post-production, it's not a problem. But for professional work where I'm paid, I would go for a different microphone probably. What I liked is the weight is very light. Again, for traveling, that's what I do. It's awesome, so it's less weight in your backpack. It's always great to have the stereo mode to separate the different channels, left and right, and record 2 people on different tracks. I think the mute button has to be adjusted. Again, it's not great because it's very sensitive and you are risking not to record your voice, and you don't want to do that on the microphone. So again, that's an advice to the brand to maybe create a switch or put the button in a different place where you are not able to touch it there easily. And something I miss, because I prefer to actually use the lapel microphone connected to the transmitter, is the windshield for the lapel mic instead of the built-in microphone. Because this thing is huge and I don't want to walk around usually with this kind of microphone, so I prefer to have the lapel mic connected inside my t-shirt to the transmitter and have a smaller windshield as well here. If you're new to dual wireless microphones, this is very easy to use, so recommend it in that way. If you want to get the Virso, once again, the links in the description. I hope I will see you in the next video on my channel. Go and subscribe right now and take care of yourself. Yes, it says the same.